I have fond memories of blizzards. Yeah, as a Floridian.
All right, welcome everybody to the PredictIt podcast. I'm here with Garth Yuckham. I'm Jacob Studwell. Garth, let's get into tariffs. Let's start with the headline quote, or like you'd like to say, the quote du jour. The president
Hmm.
cannot claim sweeping new powers from statutory ambiguity. That is the major questions doctrine in the moment. I think a lot of the discourse is about tariffs right now. He propped up more tariffs. It was 10%, now it's 15%. But I actually think it's more of a Supreme Court balance of powers moment. I mean, this is the first time in my lifetime that I feel a real structural movement away from executive power and the unitary executive theory and basically empowering the president to be closer to a king than again the founders probably intended. But I do think this major questions doctrine moment is interesting when you look at Gorsuch's piece as well. He makes it very clear that he's looking to give Congress more power back. This is not a just these tariffs are not legal, but you can kind of keep doing what you're doing. This is a when we have questions in the air, a jump ball is going to Congress.
Right.
So it's an important moment, I think, because especially it's funny, the liberal justices ruled, in favor of the Biden administration, in favor of the Obama administration, in terms of executive powers for so long that they kind of get some of their own medicine. They get somebody who is interested in pure power here, and they're finally on the side of no, actually, Congress does have some authority here. But I also think, I want to pose this question back to you. Where does this leave the whole Alito retiring situation? Because Alito is almost an afterthought.
I mean, I think that's a great question. I was thinking about it today as we were putting together to this idea of stories and the Supreme Court conversation. I mean, it's something that's completely gone under the radar. There's very little talk, and yet we're talking about, how many seats are the Democrats going to win in the House? That the
Yeah.
Senate might go to the Democrats because of the momentum, because of Trump's job approval rating, because of what he's done with the tariffs, what he's done with immigration, and all this momentum you can feel, not just in what you read on a daily basis, whether it be a partisan newspaper or a nonpartisan newspaper. That is the narrative. They had it
Yeah.
with Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and they didn't replace her. They didn't make the move, and
Yeah.
even if it would have been really unpopular, you would have preserved that seat. You would have played the game correctly, and I feel like you could have the second running of that
Hmm.
occasion. Very, it's not a 0% possibility. It's a what, 40% probability it could happen,
So,
maybe
so right now,
10%.
a SCOTUS justice confirmed in 2026 is 68 cents yes. So people are expecting this retirement and
Well,
replacement
because it's
potentially
because
in the
it's
lame duck period.
okay, could potentially there, but I mean I mean, very real possibility. I mean, it's you would think. I mean, because it's a smart play. It's the
Republicans
smart
play
play.
this game. They are much more strategic, much smarter about these things. I'm curious. I just don't know what goes through a Supreme Court's head when they're thinking about retirement or I'll stay on for a couple more sessions. Like, what is that calculus? Is it always political? I don't know. Is
I
Clarence
think
Thomas
it,
more political than Samuel Alito, or is it the reverse, or is Judd
I think it
Rado?
would be reverse. I think it's
It
reverse. You
depends
you,
on
you could
each.
see it in the Ruth Bader Ginsburg, scenario where
Yeah.
she kind of rebuffed it and was like, well, I don't need to do that.
Hmm.
There's no reason for me to do that. I'm going to stay here. It's an appointment for life, and I owe it to, this oath that I've taken, and you know, and now that's what did it get
Sure,
us?
yada yada yada. Right.
Right?
No, you get a lot for your oath. You actually get a medal, you get a cookie. I mean, it's just funny because she's legendary justice was going to have the legacy of all legacies, And now the legacy is a little different. And guess what? And this happened to Biden as well. The legacy is different. Not stepping
Hmm.
down changes the legacy entirely. But this is going to play into Section 122. He places tariffs. We got 150 days. Congress then needs to approve it. I I love him forcing Congress to approve his 15% tariffs across the board right before a midterm. I mean,
Exactly.
Thune
Exactly.
and
Why?
Johnson, they're so
Why?
mad. They're so upset that they have to work with this nonsense. And the Democrats are like, all right, let's just focus on our
There,
primaries and keep moving.
there was a quote I saw from Sarah Huckabee Sanders this morning, and it was, and I think it rings true. You know, you want to get Trump to act, tell him he can't do something.
Sure.
Supreme Court said you can't do something, so he said, okay, give me another way to do this, and then he did it. And how long was the time difference? Like hours? Was
It
it
was
hours?
2, 3 hours, yeah, 2, 3 hours, something like that.
I mean,
I mean, it's crazy.
so you see these articles about like, oh, the Republicans are taking this reprieve that Supreme Court is now have saved them, and then what's the news cycle since the new tariffs? There is no reprieve,
Nope, not in Trump land.
not in Trump land,
There's never a
and
reprieve.
but the winning calculus doesn't make any sense. I mean, because as you said, what it's Section 122? It's 6 months, right?
Yeah,
It's almost March.
not even. It's less
I
than six
mean,
months. It's actually perfect for a midterm political play from the Democrats. Like, I don't know how they implanted this idea in his head. He clearly had it prepared. I mean, this was obvious. He
yeah,
saw oral arguments. He saw what
yeah, sure,
justices were
sure.
his team. I don't know if Trump listened to
No.
oral arguments. I mean, I didn't, so no knock on him. But the point is that he had this prepared, and they were either going to give that ruling. They could have given that ruling 3 months ago, 4 months ago,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then it maybe would have shifted the timing a little bit. But they sat on the ruling until now, and now we
Hmm.
have this perfect runway of 4 months. Less than I think it's less than 4 months, 150 days, and
Yeah.
then Congress has to act, and he's going to try and get he's going to use his bully pulpit to tax the American people. And I do think that the fact that tariffs are a tax on the American people has finally seeped in. I think we wondered whether or not that was actually going to seep into the American consciousness originally, because
Yeah.
that was kind of a
Yeah.
Democrat argument. But I think people are finally starting to wake up to the fact, oh, 15% tariff on everything. That's on
Hmm.
me. That's the $1,000 that we talk about every year on
Yep.
people. One quick thing, you talked about the timing. Trump was 2 hours, 3 hours behind the ruling to announce new tariffs. I pointed out, I'm pretty good on Twitter. Please go follow at PredictItPod on X. I pointed out that there was basically a free 22 cents sitting on the will Supreme Court rule against the tariffs 10, 15, 30 minutes before the ruling. So definitely follow me. I give you those good reminders. We also had a 75% win for anybody who got on will SCOTUS ruled on Trump tariffs this Friday. I tweeted that
Hmm.
out a couple days before. So, you know, I'm starting to kind of find a rhythm here on Twitter. So if the people would go ahead and follow me again at PredictItPod, I'm giving you good direction. Look, I'm not. I will point out if I say anything stupid on here to this point, I haven't said anything stupid. So I have a good track record. It's not the trading competition. We'll get to that in a bit. But in terms of at least just pointing out key moments and points in time where maybe we should get on this bandwagon. I'm doing it for the people. Okay. Please
Exactly. For the
follow
people.
me on Twitter. We're doing it for the people. Um, all right, let's keep it rolling. We're moving on to Texas early voting. We have now a solid amount of data in the Texas early voting, and a lot of people love to extrapolate the early voting numbers. They love to take what is the minority of the vote and say this is everything. This is the election day. It's really funny. We've got, we're looking at like metro voting basically, and because the Republicans and the Democrats both have competitive races, we
Yep.
can compare vote totals in certain districts in metro areas. So we have Dallas Fort Worth was Republican plus 25 in 2022, meaning they had 25% more of early voting than Democrats. Now it's Democrat plus 14. In Houston
Mm-hmm.
plus 25. Now it's Democrats plus 6 almost. In Austin, Democrats plus 6. Now it's Democrats plus 40. Again,
Yep.
Austin, very blue place. San Antonio 13. So you see the pattern here. It's very
Sure.
clear. What would you extrapolate from that?
This is a, a familiar pattern. I mean, last time out it was a Democratic president, Republicans itching to get out. We were talking about enthusiasm back then. Did the Democrats have the enthusiasm to propel Harris to a victory? It was all the signs said no. Right now we're seeing all the reverse, just in play, with the Republicans not looking forward to voting, and the
Yeah.
Democrats getting out the vote. I mean, it's this none of this really strikes me as concerning. This is kind of a familiar pattern at this point in the game.
Yeah, and this does not mean that the Senate race is even close. I don't even think this
No.
means anything at all. This is primary voting. This is a completely different electorate. Obviously, Democrats are more excited to vote. What is interesting, though, is I saw about 35%, and this is, people kind of doing their own research. 35% of Texas Democratic primary voters are not regular primary voters, or they have not voted in a primary ever before. That is interesting to the race itself because
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Jasmine Crockett's strategy is to get out the Democratic base, the
Yep.
primary voters who typically vote. James Talarico is trying to expand the electorate. So it seems like things are going his way, although, turnout in large Black areas are up as well. So it's a little bit of a mixed bag, but I do think there are some early good signs for Talarico. I still think this means nothing about is Texas on the table. It'd mean more to me that Alarico will actually win. And then, okay, now we're in a 10-point ball game, I think is more of how I would look at it. But I wouldn't necessarily go running like Texas is blue. What else is going to be blue
Yeah.
next?
Right.
Like the environment is such that it's a competitive Democratic primary. I'm sure they're excited to vote for their pastor candidate, or Jasmine Crockett is very interesting too. She has very loyal fans. They're excited to vote for her as well.
Yep.
But this is not putting Texas in play yet. Like, let's not jump to
No.
conclusions based
No.
on early voting numbers. I mean, it's still very, very. Let's
No.
at least wait until March 3rd to make that assumption, right?
Well, I mean, not just March 3rd. We have to go further down. We have to see what our first quarter, second quarter fundraising numbers looking like. What's the news cycle looking like? I mean, are we going to have more, whether it be a Talrico or a Paxton or a Cornyn? Well, I mean, really, let's focus on like the Crockett's and the Paxtons of the world, the type of people who are a little bit more lightning adjacent, are going to be more of lightning rods. And if they're funneling in a lot of money and a lot of headlines, then we can start talking about, is this going to, how far is Texas going to be, in play? Do I think Texas is in play in general? Just a cold take on this? Yeah, I do. There are way too many signs when it comes to how nationally how things are going, the malaise, the cost of living situation, the tariffs thing that we just talked about, the timing of all that.
It's
Actually,
an environment reason. That's why it's in
I think
play,
it's an
right?
environment reason, and it should be interesting because of this is kind of a preview of tomorrow's email that we're going to look at who the Democrats picked for the State of the Union rebuttal speech. And this is, Abigail Spanberger, who kind of really pushed this new message for Democrats in the Virginia race.
Yep.
It really resonated, and I think it was a really smart pick. And I think if they can keep that singular message, then yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of places that shouldn't be in play, but will be in play in November.
Yeah, I agree. Let's touch on the State of the Union because this is our trade talk segment here. We're going to look at some trades, maybe add to that trading composition board, but we've got Trump. Will Trump say tariff? And then we've got lots of different bands of the amount of times he's going to say tariff. Right now, the traders are interested in 18 or more. That is the largest amount of times he will say tariff. Look, this speech is going to go at least an hour and 20 minutes. I think the record's an hour and 30 minutes. It depends how long he's going to talk. Will he say tariff 18 times? Because he's going to say it 10 times probably, right? I mean, the bands are all kind of wonky right now. It's a little low volume, but I don't hate will Trump say tariff 18 or more times. Like I could easily, I mean, look, he says tariff 3 times in 3 seconds. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, and he's already kind of gone off on everybody. He roasted his Supreme Court nominees that he pushed through. He's roasted their families. I mean, it's he. I mean, he could go scorched earth here. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked. He could also talk about UFOs, and he could go that route. I mean, who really knows what is going to be in his mind? But the environment. Going back to that keyword, yeah, tariffs all day long. Has to, right?
has to, absolutely has to. So
Everybody's listening. Everybody's
quick,
listening.
quick hits on mentions. Will he mention Epstein?
No, no.
No on Epstein. Will he mention Greenland?
Yeah,
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 he just sent a hospital boat over there.
yes.
He
And
loves to be charitable.
Denmark was like, we don't need that.
I don't know why they would. It's not what there was no explanation to like why we sent it over.
Humanitarian aid.
Of
The Greenland
course,
people,
they need
Greenlanders
it.
need help.
They need
Yeah,
help, and
they
we're
need
gonna
it.
help them.
Yeah,
He's totally gonna mention Greenland. That's at 78
definitely.
cents right now, by the way. Trump mentions Epstein at no is 72 cents. And then we got Trump claims 2020 rigged at State of the Union, yes or no. We're playing the hits. We're definitely going
Oh
yes
yeah.
there, right? Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
That's at 85 cents. That's at 85 cents. So honestly, some quick wins there. I mean, I think I'll slap on 100 on 2020 was rigged, and I'll slap on 100 on mentioning Greenland as well at 85 cents and 78 cents respectively. You want to hop on with us? Should we make this what I call a table strat where
Oh
everyone's just
no,
going
no,
all in?
definitely not. No, I think the idea of predicting what Trump is going to say is a ridiculous idea.
Yeah, that's super fair. That's super
Some
fair.
some traders say there's a science to it. Like, that's a
It's
tough
there's
one.
not. There's definitely not a science. I think
I mean,
it's somewhere between science and art, right?
something like that. But at 70 cents, 80 cents, I mean, like,
I'm paying it. I'm paying it. Give me $100
okay,
on both of those.
okay,
It's
okay.
small potatoes for what we're working
Small
with. So
potatoes.
let's go with it. Hit that trade button. Let's move on. So I've got one more trade today that I want to discuss. There was a report out from the Atlantic, I think it was on Thursday, that Kristi Noem is interested in leaving DHS and going back to South Dakota to run for the Senate seat there. There's been a lot of
Okay.
writing on the there's been a lot of writing on the wall of will she be the first one out? We have both a market to say who will be the first cabinet member out, as well as will Kristi Noem be out by May. And so, by the way, the cabinet member to leave, she is in the lead at 20 cents. Pam Bondi's at
Hmm.
17 cents. But we
Hmm.
have will Kristi Noem leave office before June 2026? I said May, it's June at 33 cents. I'm not fully sold on this. She's primary challenging a Republican incumbent who is bound to win. She's kind of inserting herself to get another job so that she doesn't go jobless for many months. It's a funky one here. Is she just escaping getting fired? The firing deadline is in March, by the way. So
I
the end of
think
March.
you touched on it. Another job, right? We talk about the 2028 races and the primaries coming up, and you know, it's kind of hard to be a reasonable candidate if you're not working. I mean, this is the Buttigieg argument, right? You
Yeah,
can tour around, or the Beto O'Rourke, equation. You
right.
tour around, you get out the vote, you're a good party person. You help in whatever areas you can, and you make a name for yourself to a certain degree. But there's nothing like being in office,
Mhm.
saying, "I did that, I did that, I did that. Look at my record. I'm ready for the next step."
Mhm.
And I mean, DHS is really hot. Not only are you shut down, but you've just had Minnesota. You've been the face of this administration for the last year and change to a certain degree because of the policies that the president has put out. I mean, that's kind of the definition of a dumpster fire. Wouldn't you
Yep.
want to get out of there if you have? I mean, she's relatively young, politically speaking. So why wouldn't you want to get out of that situation under that magnifying glass?
It's interesting. So the Republican primary in South Dakota is in June. She challenged Senator Mike Rounds. There are lots of political allies of Mike Rounds. It seems like they would back him. It's not like he would step down. I mean,
No, no,
it's
definitely not.
yeah. I don't really see it personally. I don't see a gnome jumping right into the Senate race, winning that primary. I see it as
But
like
this
a
isn't
death
this
spiral for
a
her.
little similar to Crockett jumping into the Senate race here and kicking Allred out effectively, but
Yeah.
also putting herself behind somebody who is relatively good at fundraising and has already been running a campaign. I mean, you can see Crockett's getting beat you know politically here because Talrico has more money, has been able to fundraise more,
He's more
and she
organized
can.
too, which
He's more organized.
timing plays into that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I mean, what? So we're talking. When did you say the primary was? It was August,
It's in June. It's in June. So
June.
it's
I mean,
very soon.
that's basically the same thing. Crockett
Yeah.
jumps in December. You got a
Yep.
March
Yep.
primary. I mean,
Right
there's
before
just
the
no
filing
time.
deadline. Right. Right.
Like that's dicey. So that's a catch 22. That's a major catch 22 if you ask me for her
Yeah, so I'm glad
for
we talked
November.
it out. I'm not going to jump on will Christy Nome leave office before June 2026, even with this report. I do think if she does jump into that Senate race, I'd hop right on Mike Rounds. I love the comparison between Nome and Crockett. I think that these interesting political comparisons that you would never put the two in the same conversation. But on this podcast, Christy Nome and Jasmine Crockett learn from each other. You two learn from each other.
They're same.
Same. All right, well, let's close out. This is our big new segment. We're going on Kiss Mary Kill. We didn't love that for the pod, so we're kind of reimagining that structure. We're looking at the California governor's race. Some new reports out, some new good polling late last week that we can dig
Mm-hmm.
into. We've got five candidates to look at. Maybe we'll talk about the six. We'll discuss because traders are interested. But we've got campaign elect sign reject recall. So we've got five buckets here, and it goes in that order. So your most likely to win is going to be campaign. We've got campaign as number one, elect as number two. You'll vote for them. Sign, you'll sign their petition, but you reserve the right to not vote for them in the actual election. That's the third. Reject, this person has a clear flaw, but you know, second worst. And then we've got recall. No chance you're going to recall them even if they win, type of thing. So let's talk about the field. We've got Eric Swalwell, who right now is trading at 48 cents. He is in the lead in terms of polling. Nothing too impressive though from the Swalwell camp. Then we've got
Mm-hmm.
Tom Steyer. He's at 11 cents on PredictIt. also solid polling numbers. I mean, they all kind of have the same story of like, yeah, whatever. Swalwell's the front runner. Steyer has the money. Katie Porter, I don't know. You're gonna have to sell me Katie Porter because after the whole interview
You can't sell
conundrum,
me Katie Porter. You can't.
I
Did
think
you
I
do you
think
see?
we're gonna do this together. By the way, so I think Katie Porter like instantly goes to the recall section. Am I
Oh,
right there?
yeah. She definitely has no chance. I mean, did you see her new
No
campaign
chance.
about F Trump? She's jumped on the
Oh,
F Trump.
was that her video?
That's hers. Well, no, there's two. There's
There's
Stratton.
two.
There's
Stratton, right?
Stratton.
Yes.
She started it, and then now over the weekend, Katie Porter has her own. I mean, after your whole what
These
you
Democrats that follow trends are just the cringiest ever. They were like, "Oh, we got the
it's
word that we can like say the F word. We can curse everywhere. Let's do
I,
it. Let's do it everywhere."
I
Like
just like
it really is insane. What is that? What are they doing? Stratton? It's funny because Stratton just started to get serious. Like this race really just started to buckle down.
yeah,
And then she kind of goes nuclear, whereas Porter is
yeah,
completely out of the race, needs to go nuclear. She
yeah.
like does in her opinion, but I don't think this will sway anything.
Which is
So
just more. She's
Porter
just
is
on type.
recall.
She's just on type. I
Right.
mean, based on
Right.
previous incidents, like that's she's playing to her strengths. You can call
Her
it.
strengths. She has many strengths. Like a shot. She's got to get a perfect shot. That's one of her strengths. All right, let's move. So we've got to recall reject. And I want to pitch to you Bianco for reject. I saw Bianco on CNN. His pitch
Mhm.
was to eliminate all income taxes, all California income taxes. Yeah, that'll raise an eyebrow. Cut waste, which we'll hear that over and over again. That's fair. Loosen
Yeah.
oil restrictions in California. Again,
Where the
weird
going
sell.
electric.
Then we've got end tent encampments, which I think will be popular, and public safety issues.
Sheriff.
That's yeah, right, sheriff. I mean, that's why
Playing to his
he's
strengths. He's playing to his strengths.
look. I think he's got a big flaw, and that's he. It sounds like he doesn't really know what California is. Like eliminating all income taxes, and we're gonna replace that revenue with cutting waste or no, really loosening oil restrictions and
Wealth
it
tax.
just are we in Texas or are we in California? Like I just don't really understand.
Yeah, I
So
agree. I
I
agree with
think
this. This is totally type situation, reject situation.
reject because I think in the case that and there was a report out from I think it was Axios that the Democrats are getting nervous about this governor's race.
There, yeah.
it, it, it's insanity that they're getting nervous. Okay, they just won Prop 50, which is let's redistrict to add Democratic seats in a 65-35 vote count. They have the front runner for the Democratic nomination in 2028 is their governor, is the position that
Well,
they're voting on.
well, but the California Democrats have this tendency of becoming nervous very quickly. You remember the LA mayor's race
Yeah.
with us? I mean, like they were like, "Oh no, a Republican might win LA." It wasn't even close. Like, come on, guys,
I
chill.
know. Is it to light fundraising numbers? Like I feel like this is a floated news story that they're like, oh, just put this, where all the donors read, and we'll get a bunch of new money to the party. And
Exactly. Yeah, that's what it smells like. Or just, hey, let's make sure everybody's paying attention to us. It's early, but we got to be ready for it.
yeah,
Yeah.
it hasn't been an
So.
interesting race, so it's fair for them to be like, no, pay attention to us, pay attention to us.
Mhm.
So we've
Well,
got the
because
other Republican.
Gavin is. Well, but hold on, Gavin's flying all the way around the world right now. He was in Davos, then he was in Munich, and he's taking all the air out of the room.
As much as he's representing California as the California governor, he's not
Mm.
talking about California. He's not talking
No,
about his state, what
no,
he's done, what he's accomplished.
no.
It's all what can I do for you in the future? You only have
Yes.
3 years left. It's pitching out the future. He's not representing California at all. We're not talking about California
No.
in any way, shape, or form. If anything, we're talking about it in a bad way.
I mean, is this not the Trump play right now? Same, same.
Same. You're right. It is definitely same. And I do want to say that the California Democratic Party has a lot of the exact same issues that the National Democratic Party has. We got two
Mm-hmm.
reports out. Again, Axios. I think maybe one was Politico. You know what? It's hard to keep track. Leave me alone, people. So we've got
Again,
two
same,
reports.
same.
Same. We've got two reports. We've got the Democratic autopsy that nobody ever saw. They hid it away, and I think I know why. Because it came back that we think Harris lost because of Gaza. Biden just didn't handle that situation well enough, and that's why Harris lost. I mean, you're laughing because it's hilarious. It's
It
absurd.
is.
It puts no confidence in this party. If they can't get the autopsy right, it was not Gaza. It was not Gaza. It was two things, and
No.
you can pitch your wagon to both of them. It was the economy, it was inflation, or it was
Yep.
immigration. Those are the two things you can hitch your wagon. It was not Gaza. It was not getting out the base. That is absurd. Okay, that's one report.
Well,
Then we got another report. South Carolina is inviting the DNC primary order selection committee, I don't know what they call it, to a lunch with Biden, who I guess is taking lunches now, apparently. I didn't realize. I thought he was still recovering. I don't know what Biden does, but they're lobbying to keep the first in the nation spot. And they're using the guy who used them, by the way. Biden put the first primary
right.
in South Carolina so that nobody would challenge him because they knew that he was going to
Yeah.
blow them out of the water in South Carolina. So they're using the guy who used them to try to keep that first in the nation spot. Do they think he has power still? Like, well, I just don't really understand.
Oh,
It's
definitely, definitely,
mind-boggling.
definitely. I mean, but this is where the Republicans have a semi opportunity if they could potentially keep their house in order. You can say the same thing about Democrats again. Like,
Right.
the Democratic message, they have a decent one. We go back to the Spanberger thing. They have a decent one. They know that it works, but can they all get on the same page? Can they
Right.
get their differences to the side and say, you know what, this is a winner. Let's use it. And maybe they will, maybe they won't.
All right, let's close out. Let's close out the campaign elect sign reject. We've got we recalled Bianca.
Porter. No, we recalled Porter. We
We
rejected
recalled Porter. We
Bianco.
rejected Bianco.
Yeah.
Then we're going to sign, and we haven't talked about him yet, but I would probably sign the other Republican. Is a Republican
Hilton.
really going to win governor in California? It's funny to say that historically, but in the moment, it's so fair. Again, Prop 50, which is like giving the middle finger to the Republican Party, won 65 to 35.
Yeah.
So Steve Hilton, by the way, is a Fox News contributor. He's running on affordability, cutting government, and ending Democratic control, which is a very coherent line of attack there. I think that's super
Sure.
fair. So that's probably why I'd put him under the sign third best chance, but he's still a Republican, a Fox News contributor. He's British. I mean, I guess California is fine with
Hey,
electing foreign people. Yeah,
Austrian
it's true. It's
as their
true.
governor.
It shouldn't. Hey, not my state. You go ahead, do whatever you want. Uh, so now we've got Steyer and Swalwell, and it's tough to not put Swalwell in the campaign in the front runner slot. He's clearly
Really
leading in
tough.
all the polls.
Yeah.
It's just, Steyer has the money. You look, honestly, you'd easily see a future where Steyer just drops out, endorses Swalwell, gives him money, and we move on and we call it a day. I don't know when that will happen, but
Right.
that's probably what will happen. And Swalwell will fight out with Porter. Like on the Democratic side, they'll also have to contend because it's a jungle primary, so they'll also have to
The jungle
contend with
primary.
Bianco
Yeah.
and Hilton. Yeah, always fun these jungle primaries. I think it's interesting.
I mean, I think that's probably where the fear is coming, right? I mean, where the Democrats are sitting there going, "Oh no, we don't have our own, we can't." So yeah, Steyer's an interesting one because I just don't see him as a serious candidate, a serious politician, because he's not a
Right.
politician.
He's
I mean,
not.
yeah, he
He's
ran for
tried to be.
president.
Yeah, he's tried to
Yeah,
be.
he ran for president, but I mean, come on, it wasn't serious. And Swalwell's the clear favorite here. Can the Republicans? I mean, as you said about Hilton, I mean, it's a coherent line of attack. But as you just said about Prop 50, 65-35, it's a clear line of attack for what, 30% of the vote?
Right. Like,
And you're
congrats.
got
You
to
got your
compete against
40 best
Bianco,
case. Yeah.
best case.
Yeah.
So no chance.
No chance there.
Yeah, no.
All right, beautiful. I just want to let everyone know everything you hear on the PredictIt podcast is my personal and Garth's personal and political analysis. Think of it like commentary. It's not advice. We're not financial advisors. Prediction market
Oh, God,
trading
no.
involves real money. You can lose what you put in easily. Nothing I say or Garth says should be taken as financial, legal, or investment advice. Please trade responsibly, everybody. But that's it for the pod. Please follow us on YouTube, youtube.com/@PredictItOfficial. We've got x.com/PredictItPod. We're on Apple Podcasts at the PredictIt Podcast. We're at Spotify. We're on iHeartRadio. We're everywhere you get. Highly suggest the YouTube video, though. There's lots of good visuals. Garth, have a great week.
Thanks, you too.